Hi again folks, how's all doing? Here we have a Hornby Princess Elizabeth that was sent to me by Alan. He said that this isn't running, it's got locked up wheels and only the tender seems to be picking up power. So power on. Absolutely nothing as expected. So we'll shove this into the shed and see if we can see what's what. So another Princess class locomotive to repair. That's two in a row. First one was the Triang Princess Victoria, and this is the later Hornby Princess Elizabeth, made in China. This doesn't belong to Alan. Alan sent it on behalf of a friend of his. Yeah, I mean, condition is okay. The wires are broken on the contacts in the drawbar, so even if the tender is picking up power, it's not getting to the motor. The body is loose. The speedometer link is broken and the little crank missing, so that won't be getting repaired because I don't think you can get replacements for those. And something I've not seen before, let's get my probe just to point, is this rod has been broken and then soldered back together. Don't know if you can see that there. I've not seen that done before. So there's been a bit of jiggery faffery going on with this, but we'll see what we can do. But my main concern is, these wheels here are okay, but that's completely locked up. Right, okay, we'll put the tender aside and we'll get this opened up and see if we can see what there's going on. We'll take the bogies off. Is that actually... No, it isn't soldered, so we can get that off. Does that screw... Just check, see if this body screw actually screws down. Yeah, it does. So it was just not screwed down properly. That out, and then this will lift out the bother because we've not got the speedometer link. And there we go. Right, okay, I don't want to test the motor until I disengage it. I need to find out what's going on with this back wheel before I do anything else. So we shall undo these 3 screws. Oh, that's completely stripped. That screw's not doing anything. Dear me. That comes out. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, it's a usual stupid pickup arrangement that's relying on pressure contact on that little nodule on the chassis. Come on, trying to get this underplate off. There we go. Get that pickup out the road. Yeah. There we go. The wheels are still locked up. That side. I think what we'll do is undo that. And that then comes off. And now you can push that wire down and get this out the road a bit. Like so. And now we can get a look at the axles, see what's going on. So these will lift out, but this is completely stuck. Right, I'm just going to remove the crank pins, get these rods out of the way. I think I might have to do something quite drastic with this, I think. Right, I think what I'm going to have to do is remove the motor so I can put this in a vise. So the 2 wheels are resting in the jaws of the vise, and then give this a few dunts with a hammer Sounds a bit drastic, but that is not budging. Somebody's had a right go at this. Strip screws. Right, let's get that out of there. Desolder that wire so I can get that out the road completely. And then I can now put this in the vise and give this a few dunts with a hammer. See if we can free those wheels. So I'll put this in the vise, give it a few dunts with a hammer, and it has loosened it a bit. There we go. I think that is possibly a bit of Mazak rot in here. There's my probe. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. The Mazak rot is actually quite bad. Okay, I'm looking at this a bit more closely now. There's a lot of swelling, distortion, cracking, crumbling of the metal. Round about the drive gear here, it's distorted as well. I'm going to do something I haven't done before and declare this locomotive a write-off. It needs a new chassis. Oh dear. We'll go online and see if such a thing exists. Okay, so I've had a good look online, and there are some Princess chassis on eBay, complete with wheel sets and everything, but they want silly money for them, and without getting a good look at them, they could have exactly the same problem. So I think, yeah, I mean, at the moment I would say this is pretty much a write-off, but I think we'll have a go at filing this. I think if I try and file this out so it at least accepts the axle, it might be okay. We might just get this running again. So I'm going to use a round file and then just kind of ream this out, because I think what's happened is the Mazak rot has caused the slot there to kind of close up, and that's why the wheels, the axle's so tight in there and won't turn. But if we can make it bigger, maybe, just maybe, I think we're getting there, you know. This file is just the right size, that's quite lucky. There we go. Quite like the look of that. Let's see if this fits over it. Right, so if that's in place, yeah, that looks tickety-boo. Right, okay. Oh, gee whiz. Right. Oh dear, with another disaster. The little nodule that connects, that touches the pickup, is broken. And again, that's just the Mazak rot. I mean, essentially the chassis is falling apart. Right, we're going to have to get creative to get pickup from these wheels. I think what we'll do is we'll wire the pickup directly, attach a wire to the pickup. Okay, so this is actually the next day. I decided not to video what I was doing with the pickups and everything on this, because you wouldn't have been able to really see it. It was just me soldering wires and cursing and swearing. But I've taken a wire from this terminal here, which is where this red wire connects to the chassis, and ran it down along with the black wire to the pickup and soldered it directly to the pickup. And that's the pickup that touches these wheels. The black wire is connected to the pickup that touches these wheels, but it's not actually soldered directly to the pickup. It's soldered to this plate here. I've put a piece of insulating tape across that to make sure that doesn't touch the chassis, because it's a high risk short, that particular design. It's resulting in a bit of a bulge in this plastic plate, but that's okay. That's keeping lots of tension on the pickups there to make sure they don't move and that there's good connectivity with the wires. The pickups themselves are actually quite badly worn and really could do with being replaced, but I looked online and couldn't find any. So I've managed to position them so they're all making contact. So it should be okay. So in theory now, this should run. There we go. So what I've got to do now is connect up these wires to the contacts on the drawbar. I'll have a look at the tender and make sure the pickups are all okay. They look okay, but it does look a bit fluffy and gunky in there. So I think this will probably be okay. It'll run for a while. What kind of lifespan it's got is hard to say. The pickups are going to wear out at some point, and yeah, the chassis has a bad case of zamac rot. But if we can get a little bit of life out of it and get it running again, I'll be quite happy with that. I have found online replacements for these rods, so I've ordered them up. Probably what I'll do is I'll finish making this video because they're going to take a few days to come. So I'm not going to delay getting this up and running again, just waiting on those rods. But when they arrive, I'll fit them. So this will go back to Alan with that rod there replaced. Right, okay, let's get this sorted. So it's going to go that way round. Now, the red wire goes to this pickup, so it's this side that should connect to the red wire. So I want to determine, is that or that? Yeah, so the red wire, which is, okay, this wire will connect to the underside, to these contacts here, which make contact with that part there, and the other wire will connect to there, make contact with those, which makes contact with that plate. And so we'll shove it down the wee hole. Get that out the road now. That, and then we want to solder that to there and get that soldered onto there. Put that down through there as well. Like so. Right. There we go. We shall see how this behaves going around corners, because sometimes these little contacts there can accidentally touch that bit. That causes a short circuit. But we shall see. Right. What am I doing? We'll get the front bogie on. We'll get. Oh, we're going to look at the tender, weren't we? Right, I'm just going to remove the vacuum pipe on the back of this tender, because taking the body off can sometimes cause it to go pinging off. Been caught out with that before. Right, here we go. I'll take this weight out. Just let's get a better look at what's going on. I've lost another manky brush, by the way. Don't know where it's gone. Somebody is sneaking into my room and stealing my manky brushes. I blame the gnomes from the gnomes' legs. Right, okay, I think we're going to have to undo what's going on here and get these wheels out and give them a clean and get into the pickups and clean them. Alright, it's just going to have a sneaky little screw under the under this coupling. Yes. I can just lift these out, give them a good dust. I'll give them a clean. Actually, they're not bad, they're pretty clean. It's just dust and fluff that's in here, really. And there we go. Stick the vacuum pipe back on. There we are. Give the front bogie wheels a clean. We've already cleaned the locomotive wheels, so we can put. Actually, no, we'll leave that off till we've got the body on. That's what we'll do next. Give this a dust down. Oh dear, the clip. There's not much left of the clip that holds the body in place. Again, I think that's down to the zamac rod. Black tack on there just to keep all that as it should be. I think we're good at that. There we go. And so, and it's not going. Why is it not going? Oh, dearie me. Okay, so as you can see there, this wouldn't run with the body on. It ran fine, like this, but as soon as you put the body on, it won't run. It's actually shorting out. And the reason for that is, or was, that the motor was on upside down. So this is the terminal that connects to the black wire, and this is the one that connects to the red wire, and it's the red wire that is connected to the chassis. And what was happening, there's a tiny little gap there between this brush terminal and the chassis block, and when you put the body on, it presses down on the motor, and that terminal then makes contact with the chassis. So yeah, just took that out, swapped it round, and it goes fine. I did wonder actually, because all the wiring was on this side, and it's normally on this side, which it is now. But yeah, there you go. Little things that you don't spot. But clearly somebody's had that motor out and put it back in the wrong way around. But you know, there's nothing really obvious to tell you, apart from the fact that the wiring loom was on the other side. But you know, you could turn the wiring around. So anyway, right, this should go now. There we go. I think we're finally done. Right, let's go and pull this out of the shed. Okay then, let's bring it out. So there we are, that's this Hornby Princess Elizabeth running again. Yeah, I actually wonder if Alan sent me this as a bit of a challenge. So much wrong with it, and really its days are numbered. And to be perfectly honest, if this was mine, I think I'd be sticking it into the chapel of rest. So it has a bad case of Mazak rot in the chassis. The rear wheels were completely stuck in the deformed chassis because of that Mazak rot. The pickups are worn and they weren't really in proper contact with the motor. The motor was on upside down, the wires to the drawbar were broken, one of the rods is broken, tender full of fluff and gunk. But I got it running, which I'm quite chuffed about, even if it has been a bit of a bodge. It's a good example of the sort of thing that would probably completely stump anyone who didn't have any experience of such things. And I actually think a couple of years ago, I probably would have written this one off and given up. Which I very nearly did, to be perfectly honest, but I don't like to be beaten. But it's got another lease of life for a bit anyway. I've said before the Hornby models from this era aren't the best. Terrible designs, some very poor components. They can run nicely though, but once they start going wrong, it's a slippery slope to the scrapyard, and getting spares for them these days is getting very difficult. So as soon as the replacement rods arrive for this, I'll get them fitted, and then I'll get this packed up and sent back to Alan. Meantime, catch you later, folks.